Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video just to explain to you as candidates how to approach the speed test that will be given in your EDPM exam. Right? It is a speed test, but it is known also as a copy test. Now this is the first thing that you will be expected to do once you start your examination. Okay, so this will be given to you and it is a timed piece and you will be required to type whatever you see on the document within 10 minutes, after which the examiner will take back that paper from you and you will proceed to the rest of your examination. Now this is a sample from the 2016 exam that is placed in the EDPM syllabus that I have here this morning. Just going through. So it is the first question, as you see here, question 1. And the instruction says, type the following in double line spacing, use equal top, left, right margins, and font Times New Roman, font size 12. All right, now once you open Microsoft Word, and I can't emphasize this enough, once you open Microsoft Word, you are expected to select no spacing. Once you select no spacing, then you will select Times New Roman, font size 12. If when you open Microsoft Word, you select Times New Roman, font size 12, and then no spacing, what will happen is that the document will revert and go back to Calibre by default. All right, and so also, once you open Microsoft Word, by default, the margin will be 1 inch all around. So you do not need to change margin once you open Microsoft. All right? And then typing in double line spacing, that is a bit different. All right? You will be expected to type in single line spacing, and then once you have done so, to highlight each paragraph and place that in double line spacing. Because in the block style, right, or how we're seeing it here on this document, right, it's expected that you will type it, it is currently in single line spacing with a double space between, but once you put it in double line spacing, you will have a double space for the paragraph with a triple space between. Okay? All right. So here we have this speed test in front of us. Now, certain things you are expected to know. So if your speed test has a heading, right, and the heading is in the center, then you are expected to indent those paragraphs. If the heading is flush to the left, then the document should be blocked, right, should be typed in the block style. And the heading of the document should always specify the format that the document should take, whether or not you are given that in an instruction. That's one thing. Right? Next, you will proceed to type the document. Now, let us go through this here. By looking, you realize that it consists of 5 paragraphs, and you're expected to type this in 10 minutes. Now, the thing about this is that you can't have any errors, right? And so it not only marks for speed, but it also, or the exam also emphasizes accuracy. All right, so you are being marked for both speed and accuracy. Now once you type a document, it is always marked off, so a portion of it will be marked as 1, another portion as 2, and onwards, and that's how we mark the subject. So to type, for example, paragraph 1, maybe 1, they call that 1, and to type up to paragraph 3, they will mark that as part 2. So we have an idea as to how far you should type before you reach a certain amount of marks. Now let us go down. Let me show you something before I further explain. So I'm going to quickly look at the mark scheme for this. And this is how the mark scheme is structured. So it says if you type the full assignment, so if you type all of that speed test in 10 minutes, right, you should get 10 marks. But how is that mark awarded? You are not expected to have any errors. So if you type everything and you have 1 error, then you will get 9 marks. 2 errors, 8 marks, and it goes down. If you have 9 errors, 1 mark. If you have 10 or more errors, no marks at all. All right? Now, it goes on then to say if you type up to point 1 but less than the full assignment with no errors. I think there should be point 2. So if you type up to point 2 but less than the full assignment with no errors, then you will get 8 marks. All right? And if you type up to 1 with no more than 2 errors, you will get 6 marks. Remember, I just spoke to you about where we'll mark off 1 or 2 on the paper, right? I just gave an example. It's not necessarily that point. But if you type up to a certain point with no errors, then you'll receive 6 marks, 8 marks, or 10 marks, right? Now, sometimes the students will blaze and type the document. And I've seen, guys, over the years, where persons have typed, and seen this aspect has changed a bit, right? But I've seen where persons would have typed their document, everything, and they would have received no mark at all. Because when they type it, look at the section that follows. It says, the following errors are penalized. Typographical error, right? So you will be caught up in typing so fast that you make some mistakes typographically. Spelling may be off. If you may put in certain punctuations or take out certain punctuation marks that should not be there. And that's what is called omission or inclusion of punctuation marks. Because you're typing fast, you don't see a comma, right? Because you're typing fast, you put in something that should not be there, right? Also, you may omit some of the text that should be there. Trying to go so fast that you miss out certain things. You miss out sometimes an entire paragraph, right? Or you may put in certain things in the thing that should not be there. Certain words that should not be there. And also, your spacing may be off. Right? Or I explained to you earlier about typing in single line spacing, highlighting each paragraph, and then you press Ctrl+2 for double line spacing. That's the way to go. All right? And so in doing so, and if you have a heading, then you must have a triple space between the heading and the body of the text. Right? But from watching my other videos, you would have gotten the idea of how I go about doing these things, and so that should not be a problem. All right, so the spacing, you need to ensure that that is okay, right? And omission of formatting features. Now, formatting speaks to how you fix up your document, all right? And as I said to you before, that is not every time the paper or the exam is going to state what you need to do. Certain things you should know by being a student of the subject. All right, and so like if the heading is in the center, you know that the paragraph should be indented and things like that. All right, so formatting features. So how do we go about this? It has another section here that says summary of objectives tested. So what are they testing in a speed test? Right, it said that you should be able to demonstrate competence in keyboarding techniques, demonstrate correct posture at the computer, use correct spacing after punctuation marks, and you need to remember that, right? 2 space after a full stop, that's the most common punctuation mark there. 2 space after a full stop, after a comma, you know it's 1, but after a full stop, if a sentence continues there, it's always 2 spaces. You should be able to type at a minimum speed of 35 words per minute. All right, don't focus more so, on that aspect. All right, and apply appropriate formatting features. All right, now before I go, let me just quickly go back to this question that was given. All right, oh, it says that it's taken from the 2011 paper at the bottom there. All right, so how do you approach a speed test? So what I tell my students is this: do not type for the entire 10 minutes. Because if you type for the entire 10 minutes, chances are, it's bound to happen, you are going to have mistakes there that you may not get a chance to correct. All right? So I will say to my students, focus on accuracy and not so much your speed. So I will say to them, do not type for 10 minutes. Type, for example, for 6 or 7 minutes. And then you use the remaining 4 or 3 minutes to go through your document, right, to fix up the document, to ensure that you have the correct spacing. There's nothing that you put in that you should not put in, nothing that you leave out that should not be there, and stuff like that. So you do not type for the entire 10 minutes. You type for 6, for example, then you fix up that. And once you fix up that portion that you have typed and there's still time, you continue with the rest of information. So if it is that the time ends, right? And you type to a certain point, so you type everything, right? But there are errors. Then the errors may come maybe at the latter part of it. And so you would have typed up to point 1 or point 2 with accuracy. So you would have acquired that full 6 or 8 marks, right? And then everything else, no, you may not get that. You understand? And so that's how I would advise my students. And so I'm using that same method to advise you here today. All right, so do hope that that was of some help to someone. All right, but do not panic because of a speed test. All right, you hear speed, but it also marks for accuracy. So you don't have to blaze, as I said before, but go like that turtle, slow but sure. All right, not too slow though, because you're still going to be marked for speed. All right, but type not for the entire time. That's what I want you to take away from this video. You're going to type your speed test, but do not use the entire time to type. Type to a certain point, then you modify, and then you continue if you have time. All right, so that's it from me today. Do hope you learned something from this video, and see you in my next video as I try each and every time to make EDPM simple. Goodbye.